Solving two-step equations. So solving two-step equations is pretty standard sort of thing that you need to do. If you just follow a couple rules, it should be fairly easy to do. And once you get this down, you're going to just do it automatically. So the first thing to remember is you always undo addition or subtraction first, and then you undo the multiplication or division. It's just simpler that way. That's one way of thinking about it. But another way of thinking about it is this, is that if you have down here 5x plus 6 is equal to 16, which is easier to divide this number by 5, this number by 5, this number by 5, and then subtract what's left over here from that over there. It's just going to be harder than if you just get rid of one of these numbers. I'll show you how to do that with this subtraction, and then you're just dividing by 5 afterwards. So it's just simpler to do it that way. But remember to do the same thing to both sides of the equation. So first off, we're going to go ahead and subtract 6 from both sides of the equation here. When we do that, we end up with 5x plus 6 minus 6 is equal to 16 minus 6, which is just going to be 10. Now we've just got to divide both sides by the same thing. In this case here, since there's a 5 in front of the x, this is actually called the coefficient in front of the x, so there's a 5 in front of it. And this would be a 7 coefficient in front of the f, or a coefficient of 7. This would be a coefficient of 4 in front of the g. Just means you have 4g and 2d. 2 is the coefficient in front. So we just divide by the coefficient, so divided by 5. What we're left with then is 5 divided by 5, so it's a coefficient of 1, and we don't even need to write that down. So it's just 1, 1x, that's what it's assumed, is equal to 10 divided by 5, which is going to be 2. And same sort of thing here. To get rid of this, what do? Just like we did before, we add 10 to both sides. When we add 10, this cancels out. We're left with 2d is equal to 14 plus 10, which is 24. Now we divide both sides by 2, because we have to get rid of that 2 in front, the coefficient. So 2 divided by 2 is just going to be 1d left over. And 24 divided by 2 is going to be 12. Here, same exact thing. Negative 6 plus 7f is equal to 10. And again, if you want, you can think about it this way. Subtract negative 6, because you're taking away negative 6. Subtract negative 6 from both sides. Or if you wanted to, and you just could think it out this way, you could just add 6 to both sides. But we're talking about taking that away, so that's why I'm doing it this way. So if I have negative 6 and then I subtract negative 6, that's just going to be 0. So on this side, I'm just going to be left with 7f. And then I have over here 10 minus negative 6. And if you remember that, when we did that, 7f is now going to be equal to 10 plus positive 6, because we add the opposite, which is just going to be 16. So then we divide both those things. 7f is now equal to 16. So we divide both sides by 7. And what do we have? This cancels out, and we're just left with f is equal to 16 divided by 7, or 16/7. Over here, same thing, so it works with fractions. Here, 4g minus 2.5 is equal to 13.5. We go ahead and we add 2.5 to both sides. 2.5 to both sides. So we end up with now just 4g is equal to 13.5 plus 2.5. Well, this is going to be 13 plus 2. That's going to be 15 plus 0.5 and 0.5. That's going to be 16. Nice and easy. So we divide both sides now by the coefficient, which is 4. And both sides. So now I just have g is equal to 4. Last couple ones here show this works with division and multiplication too. So here, subtract 7 from both sides, and you'll see the pattern here. Just get rid of the stuff that's on the same side with the variable, and then whatever you're left with on the other side is what it's equal to. So now we just have y divided by 3 is equal to 10 minus 7, so that's going to be 3. So now what do? We have to multiply both sides by 3. Multiply both sides by 3. And when I do that, y divided by 3 multiplied by 3 is just y. 3 times 3 is going to be 9. Last one here. 8 plus r over 10 is equal to negative 8. So what do? I subtract 8. Subtract 8. And I'm left with just r divided by 10 is equal to, now I've got negative 6 plus negative 8, or negative 6 minus negative 8. Well, let's do this the right way. Minus 8. That's going to be equal to negative 6 plus negative 8. So they have the correct amount here. They both have the same sign, so that's going to be negative 14. And so now we just have r over 10 is equal to negative 14. So I have to multiply both of these by 10. Both of these by 10. And I see now that r is equal to negative 14 times 10, so negative 140. And don't forget to check over your answers and see if this makes sense. Plug this back in. 2 into here, 5 times 2, 10 plus 6 equals 16. That's right. 12 in here. 2 times 12, 24, minus 10 is equal to 14. That makes sense. So here's a little bit trickier to do, but you can still do it. 16 over 7. If you plug that in, 7 times 16 over 7 is just going to be 16. So negative 6 plus 16 is equal to 10. And 4g minus 2.5, well, what's g equal to? It's going to be 4, so this is going to be 16 minus 2.5 is equal to 13.5. That makes sense. Plug in 9 here. 9 divided by 3, that's 3 plus 7 equals 10. And then plug in negative 140 here. Negative 140 is going to give you negative 14 here. 8 plus negative 14 is equal to negative 6. So that all makes sense. And again, just remember that you've just got to figure out what this thing is in mental math that added to this equals that. So think about it that way if you want to. What is the value of this that's subtracted from this equals that? It's another way of checking and thinking this through as well.